Good morning, Doctor. We are from Group 6, and my name is Chia Guang Kwan, matrix number 2x7592, and I would like to start the presentation. First is the table of result outcomes of dice rolling experiment. In the table, we get sample rolling about 50 times, sample outcomes, total, and sample mean. Each sample rolling has 30 outcomes, so we need to roll the dice about 1,500 times. Next, we add all numbers of the outcome to find the total outcome first. For example, the total outcome for the first sample roll is 97. Then we use this formula to calculate each sample mean. N is 30 because each sample rolling has 30 outcomes. And these methods are repeated until the 50th sample roll is calculated. Next, I will pass to my group mate.
My name is Liu Hong, normal matrix 2x7, 4x6. The expected mean of the sample mean is the sum of sample mean, which is 170.9667 divided by 50, and the expected mean is 3.4193. The variance of the sample mean is the sum of square difference between sample mean and expected mean, which is 2.1869, and divide with n minus 1, which is 49, and the variance is 0.04463. For the population mean, is the sum of sample mean, which is 170.9667 divided by 50, and the population mean is 3.4193. The population variance is the sum of square difference between sample mean and population mean, which is 2.1869 divided by 50, and is equal to 0.043738.
The population of this experiment is 1,500 times of total rows. The shift of the distribution is slightly positively skewed distribution. For the sample size for this experiment is 30 rows of dice.
My name is William Yo. My matrix number is 2x7252, and I will present the graph of the distribution of the sample mean and the description of shape of the distribution. As the table, the bar chart show below, we separate the sample mean into four, which is 3.0 to 3.25, 3.25 to 3.5, and 3.5 to 3.75, and the last is 3.75 into 4, these 4 parts. In conclusion, the graph that displays the distribution of the sample mean shows slightly positive skew, which is skew right. The frequency from 3.0 to 3.25 to 3.25 to 3.5 are more than the frequency from 3.5 to 3.75 until 3.75 to 4, which is show us from high to low. We show up a highly and become lower from left side to right side. Therefore, this data shows slightly positive skew, which is skew to the right.
Hi everyone, my name is Yabdi Sheng, normal metric 2x7332. So now I will talk about the purpose of this dice rolling experiment. So the dice rolling experiment is a fun and easy experiment, and we able to learn the method of data collecting and format to display data in the form of table and graph. We also can get the mean and variance of the sample and the population for the dice rolling experiment. Next is I want to explain about the knowledge that we obtain from this experiment and the property of the sample mean. So in this experiment, we learn how to calculate the expected value and the variance of the sample mean. We also learn that to find the mean and variance of the population in dice rolling experiment, and the sample size. Besides that, we learned to graphing the distribution of sample mean. And the properties of the sample mean is that the variance is smaller for the large sample size, although the mean of the distribution of sample means is identical to the mean of the population distribution. Our impression of this experiment and experiment lesson that we realized. For me, I think this experiment is not only enlightened me about concepts of sample and population, but the method of data collection and split it into samples. The size of the sample is a part of total size of population. I also found that I can use knowledge learned in probability and statistics can be used in this experiment to solve the problems that we face, such as identifying the mean, variance, and also the graph of shape. That's all for me. Next, my crew member will continue.
In this experiment, I learned how to calculate the sample mean and population mean as well. The sample mean is the mean of the sample from the entire population randomly, and population mean is the average of the entire group.
For my impression of this experiment, I realized that the sample mean and population mean are two almost similar but different things. Although these two types of means have the same answers, but it brings different meaning. It confused me a while when doing this experiment, but finally I also figured it out. After that, I also found that I still don't know a lot about this subject when doing this experiment. I also review my homework to make up for my lack of knowledge in this subject.
After I did this experiment, I clearly understand the difference between the sample mean and the population mean, although these two means can get the same answer. Besides, this experiment has assisted in making me to understand what I need to improve.
My name is William Yo, and my impression of this experiment and the experiment lesson that I realized that there are many new knowledge and precious experiments can be learned from a fun and easy experiment like this. Through this experiment, I have also reviewed the knowledge of mean and variance. This makes me more confident for facing the experiment examination in future time. Thank you.